all the things you could write, you made something up that was harmful. That's weird. I'm back. Haven't done one of these in a while, and I usually do them for rom-coms, but I'm here to do it about a book. And this book I read back in May, I believe, Love in Other Words. And I was doing my wrap-up, and I was putting my list together on my favorite books and my least favorite books. And I got to this. And I was like, this book is horrendous. It's genuinely horrendous. And no one told me. Everyone I heard around me told me this book was good. And when I mean around me, I mean the internet. The internet told me this book was good. The internet told me I would like it. Best romance book ever. One of my favorite booktubers loves this book, raves about this book. So I was like, you know what? Let me buy it. Let me see what this is about. And I did. And I didn't like it. And I'm here to tell you guys why. And why this is an issue. Now, before we get started, there will be spoilers. It's okay to critique media. This is not personal. I appreciate the time it took to write this story, but there are major issues that cannot be ignored. And trigger warning, which I was not privy to, mentions of sexual assault and death of a parent. I went back and forth if I should do this video because I'm starting to write too, and I understand how long it takes to like craft a story, make the characters, actually get thoughts down on the page. So I didn't know if like this was doing way too much, but I keep just thinking about it over and over again, and I'm reading reviews with views that I agree with towards the book, and I'm just like, it's okay. But again, this is not personal. I'm not saying I hate these authors, I hate romance books, anything like that. This is just a critique of a story that is weird. So this book has a past and present timeline, and we follow characters Elliot and Macy. They met when Macy's dad bought a summer house, and Macy found Elliot in her closet. But no, they buy this summer house because Macy's mom passed away, and they're like, we should do this. I'm pretty sure her mom like left a list of things they should do, and somehow this summer house was on the list or something like that. Basically, the mom is what drove them to get this summer house. So like I said, Macy finds Elliot in her closet. It's okay because like it was like an abandoned house and no one was in it, so you know, but nonetheless, that's basically where their story takes off, and they start reading together, hanging out, and over the years they develop feelings for each other. And basically in the past timeline, we just get to see them develop these feelings and become friends. If you haven't guessed, it's a childhood friends to lovers trope. So now in the present timeline, stark difference. Elliot and Macy are not talking to each other anymore, and haven't in like 11 years because of something that happened, something that Elliot did, and we're basically not sure what he did throughout this entire book. We're trying to figure out what was so bad that Elliot did that caused Macy to stop talking to him, because you'll see in the past chapters that they were so close, they had so many similarities, they were friends, they were truly like best friends, and you're just like, damn, what could have happened? Especially the fact that they even loved each other at one point. I think for Macy, Elliot was one of her first. So, you know, it's just like such interconnectedness between the two of them that, again, throughout the whole book, you're just like, girl, what happened? And then when we get to what happened, it's literally like, what the fuck? And that's basically why I'm making this video, because the way it was done, the reveal of what Elliot did, 11 years later, they meet in a coffee shop, they being Elliot and Macy. And basically all the feelings that they felt 11 years ago come rushing back. Now, when they see each other 11 years later in the coffee shop, Elliot immediately breaks up with his current girlfriend. That's a little weird, that's a little freaky. It's okay, because like, you'll do anything for love, period. Okay, but then Macy has this boyfriend or fiance, I forget who he is. I think he's her fiance. Nonetheless, he's shitty, so we don't really care. His name is Sean. Sean couldn't care if Macy lived or died, and I'm being so serious when I tell you this. He doesn't listen to her, he doesn't care about her, he doesn't integrate her into his relationship with his daughter. Macy's not a part of the family. It's just like she's like a weird like cat that's in the house. Oh, and he only wants her for sex too, because why? Like when she tried to tell Sean her feelings about everything that's going on, he just wants to pipe. So that's always a green flag. That's always something that you want to strive for in a relationship. Macy literally says Sean wouldn't care if she lived or died. So if your partner doesn't care if you're going to live or die, I don't think you should be with them, especially if they're giving you a way out, because Sean literally does this, gives her an out. So Sean says that Macy can love Elliot, but if that love is interfering or making her question why she is still with Sean, then that's an issue. Which, I thought we were supposed to hate Sean, and I do, but when he said that, I was like, wait, he might be eating a little bit. Because he's acknowledging, okay, I get it. You have a past with this man. You can love him. But, like, if you loving Elliot is like, wait, why am I with this loser? Then that's an issue, which he spilled on that. Yes, that's right. You're right. But you're also a shitty partner as well. So let's not put like the fate of this relationship on Macy. That's just how much she does not care, like, if this relationship goes well or does not. Like, literally, they went to like a picnic with Sean and like a couple of their other friends, and Macy was like, oh, do you like my friends? Like, how did you like them? He was just like, they're fine. Like, he just like does not give where it needs to be given. Essentially, Macy is entertaining Elliot and Sean at the same time, but Sean is okay with it. Elliot, he's okay with it too, but he's kind of just like, hey, like, do you like me? What's going on? And Sean's just like, you gotta pick between me and Elliot. But they're like kind of okay with it. But like as we get into the book, they're just like, okay, you kind of need to know who are you gonna go for. Macy throughout a big part of the book is literally like, I don't know what my feelings are. I don't know what I feel. And that's basically why she's in between Sean and Elliot, because she doesn't know what she feels. She doesn't know if she should stick with this piece of shit Sean or Elliot, who she has stopped talking to for 11 years because of something she did. Yeah, and then Elliot's also telling her feelings, being like, I love you, you know you love me, so like, what are we doing here? So she's just confused. She literally says verbatim that she's letting Elliot tell her what she feels because she doesn't know. So I actually don't think that's the right thing to do in this situation. One last thing before I get into my main takeaway of the book, why am I making this video, is what I'm not covering and what I really can't convey or maybe even care to convey is Elliot and Macy's childhood friendship that really is what packs a punch to the reveal, and also just the whole journey throughout the present. In the past timeline, we get to see how similar the two of them are, how vulnerable they both are with each other, and just like genuine just childhood friends. The things they say to each other. This is one thing that I'm going to commend Christina Lauren for doing, is they really grasped the childhood like conversation. It felt like I was reading two pubescent teens talking. It's a little awkward, it's a little weird, and then you also just get to see teens navigating love and like, what does that look like, being each other's first. I'm not sure for Elliot, because Elliot's a little of a player, but for Macy, it's just like, you know what I mean. And I also thought what was really refreshing is Elliot being a teenager, or however old he was during that time, like, he was very vulnerable, and I've never seen an MMC so vulnerable and mature for his age, just the way he went about things as well. But for Macy, I just felt like she was like every other teenage girl. Sorry, but like as she got older, yeah, like I could like tell you traits about her that are more defining. For Elliot, it was just interesting to read a mature, vulnerable guy. Instead of being told these two are so close, they understand and care for each other, they actually love each other, we got to see it instead of being told. And I think that's what really people like, and also, like I said before, has more impact towards the final chapters and everything that ends up happening. But now we have basically my two things that I don't like about this book that really just ruins it for me, and I think also made me realize, hey, this is something that we shouldn't be doing. So the first is the reveal of what happened. So I'm going to continue with the plot at this point. We're going to go back into the past. And this is basically when they're around teenagers. Elliot's at this party. He tells Macy to come. Over the phone, it sounded like he was going to say, I love you. So she's just like, come on, Dad, I have to go to this party. And he's like, okay, just call me when you get to this party. So she ends up going. She drives herself. She gets to this party. Y'all, Elliot's friends are trying to stop Macy from seeing Elliot. There's 3 friends that are like, no, go, he's upstairs. And then there's one, which is the real friend. He's like, no, don't go up there. Or actually, is he the real friend? Maybe the real friends are the 3 friends that said, hey, actually go up there and see what he's doing. So she goes upstairs, she sees Elliot on a bed, and there's a girl on top of her. Now, this girl is important. This girl was someone that was reoccurring in their past, and Macy was always jealous of her. The girl would be jealous of Macy as well. We could see that Elliot liked Macy more, but during school, when they weren't at the summer house, Elliot was messing with this other girl. They were both jealous of each other because they wanted Elliot. Never fight over a man. Nonetheless, this girl got on top of Elliot. Macy sees this, and obviously anyone would think, oh, Elliot's cheating on me, what the fuck? So she goes downstairs. She's upset. She leaves the party. She doesn't even call her dad because she's so upset. So her dad ends up driving all the way to the summer house to pick her up, and they leave. They get in a car accident, and the dad passes away. Mind you, her mom had already passed away before they even got to the summer house, and now this is like 8 years later. Her dad is now gone, unfortunately. So this just leaves Macy just in a wreck, as it would anyone, and she ultimately places the blame on Elliot, because if he never called her to be like, hey, come to this party, she would never have gone. So she just places all that on Elliot, which, you know, I don't fault her for. That's basically what stops her from talking to him for like the 11 years. But what we don't know, or what we also get revealed, is that Elliot thought that the girl that was on top of him was Macy. He was so drunk out of his mind, and the girl took advantage of him, and Elliot was sexually assaulted. And mind you, his friends didn't even tell him what happened until either days or weeks later. Who needs enemies when you have friends like this? That is actually insane to me. This is also why Elliot was confused on why Macy was mad at him. Elliot and Macy tell what I just told you. They say that to each other. And so Elliot feels guilty for Macy because, you know, if I never called you to come to the party, your dad would have never passed away. They get to this understanding where Elliot was sexually assaulted and Macy's dad passed away, and you would think maybe they would just like try and like figure like, okay, what does this mean for our relationship now? What do we do? Have sex? You think not only after Elliot getting all this tragic information, also Macy too, and also the audience, that we would spend more time dealing with these emotions, especially more than just the chapter that it was told to us to. But no, so Elliot throws up, and then they have sex, which is interesting. So this reveal is done in one chapter. Everyone is getting this information. Us, Elliot, Macy, and we waited the whole entire book to figure out what was going on, and it's revealed, and it's just like, okay, can we like unfold it? Because Elliot's assault literally affected him to the point of him having intimacy issues, which like every girl that he got with, like he couldn't be intimate with his partners. It affected relationships. Elliot's ex-girlfriend, who he broke up with when he saw Macy, he literally told us this information that he was having intimacy issues. So if this affected him that much, like, why aren't we talking about it? Even if you're going to make Elliot and Macy have sex after they told each other, hey, this is what happened, why didn't we get to see them figuring out those intimacy issues if they were going to have sex? Like, I don't think that was the answer, but if that's going to be the answer, we could have done it in a better way that would have been like, okay, like, see, this is how this is impacting Elliot, or has impacted him. But is it just not existent when he gets with Macy? I don't know. What could have been done to solve this issue? I don't think we could have taken anything away from it. Maybe, yeah, the sex, but I think you can keep that in there, but it's just a matter of dealing with the emotions. Again, this is like I'm not saying it's like a 600-page book or anything, but nonetheless, we waited the entire book for this reveal of what happened, and we get that he's sexually assaulted, and that's used as like a weird ass plot device, and then we're not even dealing with the sexual assault. Like, you want to have this heavy topic in your book, but then you're not going to deal with it properly. That's weird. And then they do whatever, and then the next chapter is them buying her dad's house or like packing it. I don't even care what happens. It doesn't do anything after that. I feel unsatisfied. I feel unresolved. It's weird. And then the last thing I want to talk about was the internet's weird way of marketing this book. First of all, there's no trigger warning in the beginning of this book. I could see the argument being like, well, that would be a spoiler. If sexual assault is your spoiler, I think you have to rethink your book. No, he's not cheating. He got sexually assaulted. So I just feel like this book has the same disease that It Ends With Us had, where it's being like, this is a love story. This is a romance story. But it deals with more topics, heavier topics that happen in relationships, but it's being like shown to you this is perfect, which honestly could be like a caveat to like sexual abuse or just like abusive relationship. It's presented to you, this is good, this is a relationship, it's nothing's wrong, we're in love. But then as you get further deeper into relationship, then the person who, you know, is your abuser will show you like signs, or like will start implementing signs of abuse, whatever it is. So honestly, like that could be a caveat, but like no, like people get triggered by this isn't like something that like you can play around with. I feel like this is weird. Like you should say like there's sexual assault in the book, and I feel like even so, I don't even think like the big reveal should have been like he got sex. I don't know, this could have been redone so this wasn't what I'm talking about, so I didn't have to like make a video about how this was structured weirdly. But yeah, I feel like it's marketed in a way where it's like this is a romance book, and then you go into it and it's like, wait, all this stuff is happening and I wasn't ready for it. Nowhere did I see essay. Goodreads, nothing. YouTube, book talk, book Instagram, the book itself, nowhere. And I just feel like I don't know when this was published, so maybe it was a different time, but even then, like people were literally recommending it. When did I get this book? I don't even remember. 2 years ago? Ace of Spades, I feel like that had trigger warnings. Everywhere I went there was trigger warnings for Ace of Spades. Nothing for Love in Other Words? Oh, because a spoiler is sexual. Oh, I forgot. My bad. So realizing all this, because at first I didn't even know, and this is also another weird thing. When I first read it, I was like, so did he just cheat on her? And that's it? Like, we're not going to talk about it? But then I read reviews and then I reread it. I'm like, wait, you know, he got SA, he's a victim. Is this used as a plot device? And like, is that okay? Wait, I don't like that. I literally wrote in the book, I don't like this. I don't feel good about this. All the things you could write, you made something up that was harmful. That's weird. You can have this happen in your books, but I feel like if you're gonna have it happen, you know, have it happen with like purpose, like deal with it properly. Or if it's not dealt properly, like why isn't it dealt with properly? You know, I just feel like there's a way to do it, and this is not the way to do it, where you just slap it in there and then it's just like, oops, let's get together now. Okay, ending thoughts. I just feel like Christina Lauren just like tried to have this like deep emotionally vulnerable book with a childhood friends to lovers trope to like mask all of it, and it just didn't work. It just left me, again, I'm going to reiterate, with an unsatisfying, unresolved, weird, disgusted feeling at the end of the book. I hated it. I absolutely hated it, and it ruined the whole childhood friends to lovers, whatever. It ruined that for me. My conclusion, I guess, is if you're going to do this, do it properly, do it right. Let people know, hey, this includes X, Y, and Z, because not everyone wants to read about that. And if you're going into a romance book, it looks like this, and your main character sexually assaulted, parents die, just let people know. I don't know. It's a slippery slope, I guess, because people sometimes think trigger warnings can be but trigger warnings aren't spoilers. I feel like they're letting you know, hey, like if you get triggered by this isn't the book for you. Nowhere did I see that. So I hope, well, if you're watching this, you probably aren't going to read it, but if you do, be aware of those signs. And I'm gonna go, but thank you for listening to me. I hope you have a good new year. I hope you have a good rest of your year. Whoa, what just happened? And I'll see you guys in the next one.